Sounds great, right? Well, I just wanted to kind of close up the last video that I made. We swapped out the cam. It didn't run very well, so I carried it up to the shop that did the tune. They looked at it. They still had my all my stuff, so they were able to check on the tune and whatnot. When they did so, they realized that I didn't plug in one of the banks of coil packs. So I was running on 4, which is kind of the second time that happened to me. Remember, it happened on the Camaro whenever the carburetor was clogged up on one of the banks. So I was losing 4 cylinders. Anyway, surprisingly enough, V8s run mediocre on 4 cylinders pretty regularly, apparently. Long story short, it sounds much better now. It runs great. Now that I've changed the brake booster, I don't think I'm gonna have any more of the scenario where like you come up to a stop sign and it idles and dies. We'll find out for sure, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think that's what's gonna happen. And yeah, so that's what we got going with that. We'll get back to this video, and I'll see y'all later. Alright, I don't know if you can hear this or not, but my brake booster is leaking, so hopefully you'll be able to hear it. Hear that hiss? I replaced it whenever I built the truck, so it's only got 4,000 miles on it, but it is leaking. I don't know if that's because we had to push so hard with the last cam to not have any vacuum. 2 bolts for the master, 6 bolts for the firewall, and I can't remember if you have to pull a clip on the brake pedal to get the rod out. We'll see how that goes. Alright, well, whenever you disconnect your brake pedal's now floating, which means your brake lights turn on. And I think I can just sneak in here with a zip tie. Oh, I may need 2, and zip tie that thing back. Let's see if we can get it down on one. There we go. I don't know if y'all can see that or not very well, but yeah, right there. Just throw a zip tie, and then brake lights are off. All right, so once you get your zip tie on your braking indicator switch, you know, so it doesn't stay on, and you got your brake booster out, time to call the part shop. I got mine from O'Reilly's, so give them a call real quick, make sure they have one in the store, take a quick road trip. All right, so I had to run to the hub of O'Reilly's in my hometown area. Yeah, got a big old smudge, but they had a replacement all the way from China, apparently. So I kept the push rod from the other one, and they came with another. They look like they're the exact same length. This one looks like it's made out of a better product. I'm gonna keep it. This has a rod that goes through it on the brake pedal itself. On this side you put a washer and an R pin, and then the brake There's a plate that bolts onto the brake pedal itself also, that gives a secondary point to make sure this rod stays on. And then it also is what actuates your brake switch for your brake lights to come on and off. So we will we'll get all this stuff out of the way. We'll slide it back on. 6 bolts on the back. These bolts, we'll get the rod back on, and we should be ready to go for a test drive. Hopefully we'll have no leaks. Alright, it's getting late, but my Chinese brake booster is in. I used all the stock bolts except for the, or stock nuts except for the 2 nuts right here. And instead of those being metric, they were standard. So it's kind of interesting. They come from China standard and come from 1984 Chevrolet metric. So good times. Everything's all hooked up. Let's fire it up, see if we get a vacuum leak. Oh wow, that's the first time I've had true brakes in this truck since I've had it built. Look at that, so good. Did y'all know that Arizona iced tea or fruit punch or any of the other flavors that Arizona drinks put out, they're still 99 cents to this day? It's crazy. Giant can, got to be the best value for drink you can get in the gas station, bar none. Like, you can't get a bottle of water for as cheap as you can get at Arizona tea. So shout out to Arizona, man. That's a great company. In fact, if you want to know more about it, there's a guy by the name of The Fat Electrician, and he does mainly like historical comedic reviews on heroes and World War II stories and war stories in general. I think he was the next military guy, and he just likes looking the stories up and then telling them. He did a review on the Arizona CEO / company itself. Unbelievable, man. They were just like, hey, we should go up on prices, and the CEO was like, or no, we're gonna stay the same price for 30 years or however long it's been now. Anyway, check out his video if you want to know about Arizona tea. As far as this video goes, I did not shoot a outro, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why. After the little short clip that I just played, I took my daughter to the gas station. I let her drive for the first time on the road that wasn't inside my neighborhood. The brakes just weren't, I didn't feel confident that she could stuff the brakes in the ground hard enough if we got out on the road and somebody pulled out in front of her or something. So, yeah, this is the first time that the brakes have worked good enough that I'm starting to feel confident my daughter or wife or anybody that, wanted to drive it could actually drive my truck. So that's where we're at with this one. If you want to know what we're doing next week, being that it is already time to shoot the next week's video, I think my plan is I'm going to change out the high pressure switch on the AC system and then recharge the system. Should work fine. I bypassed that switch already via just a hard wire, and immediately the AC came back on, blew cold, did great. But without the high pressure switch turning it off and on, it would run until it overpressured and then it'd hit the pop off. I guess I probably should have thought about that whenever I did it, but I did not. So hopefully we didn't tear anything up there. We're gonna change that switch out, recharge the system, and then give her another test go. So we'll see you next time. If you want to check out the AC stuff and how to recharge your system, we'll see you next time.